Ever wondered why the Israel-Palestine conflict, a dispute that has spanned over a century, is still unresolved? It is a question that baffles many and lies at the heart of one of the world's most protracted conflicts. The story commences in the late 19th and early 20th centuries with the rise of the Zionist movement, which sought to establish a Jewish homeland in the historic land of Palestine. During the First World War, the British, having defeated the Ottoman Empire, assumed control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. They promised to facilitate a national home for the Jewish people. Fast forward to 1947. The United Nations proposed a partition plan that would divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. The Jewish leadership accepted the plan, but the Arab leaders rejected it, leading to violent outbreaks. Then came 1948, a year etched in the annals of history. On the 14th of May, the State of Israel was declared, igniting a war with neighboring Arab states. This period, known as the Nakba, or catastrophe, by Palestinians, saw many of them fleeing or being expelled from their homes. The Six-Day War of 1967 was a turning point. Israel emerged victorious against several Arab states and occupied the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. This occupation remains a central issue in the ongoing conflict. Over the years, attempts at peace have been made, including the Camp David Accords in 1978, the Oslo Accords in 1993, and the peace talks at the dawn of the 21st century. However, the conflict has been characterized by periods of relative calm and escalation, including the First and Second Intifadas, the Gaza Wars, and ongoing violence. The conflict revolves around key issues such as borders, the status of Jerusalem, the right of return for Palestinian refugees, and security concerns for both Israelis and Palestinians. The two-state solution, envisioning an independent Israel and Palestine living side by side, has been a widely discussed framework for peace, though progress has been slow and challenging. International actors, including the United States, the United Nations, and the European Union, have been involved in peace efforts, but a comprehensive resolution remains elusive. The Israel-Palestine conflict, deeply contentious with complex historical, political, and emotional dimensions, continues to affect the lives of people on both sides and the stability of the region. In summary, the Israel-Palestine conflict began with the late 19th century Zionist movement and the British Mandate of Palestine. The 1947 UN Partition Plan, the 1948 War, and the 1967 Six-Day War marked significant turning points. Attempts at peace have been made, but the conflict continues, revolving around key issues such as borders, Jerusalem's status, Palestinian refugees, and security. The two-state solution has been widely discussed, yet progress remains slow and arduous. International involvement has been significant, but a comprehensive resolution is yet to be achieved. This long-standing dispute continues to impact lives and regional stability. It is a testament to the complexity of human conflict and the elusive nature of peace. In the heart of the Middle East, a conflict that has spanned decades, the Israel-Gaza conflict has once again flared up, creating a ripple effect of uncertainty and fear. What began as a territorial dispute has spiraled into a cycle of violence and retaliation. But what's happening right now? What's the current state of this conflict in October 2023? So what sparked this recent escalation? It all started when Hamas launched a surprise wave of attacks from Gaza, leading to Israel declaring a state of war. This wave of attacks, the heaviest in years, coincided with the 50th anniversary of the 1973 Yom Kippur War. The attacks involved militants infiltrating Israel with paragliders, boats, and motor vehicles, resulting in at least 250 deaths and over 1,500 injuries. In response, Israel launched Operation Swords of Iron, bombing targets in Gaza and mobilizing ground forces. But what about the civilians caught in the crossfire? Reports tell us that over 123,000 Gaza residents have been internally displaced due to the Israeli bombardment. Families are fleeing their homes, seeking refuge wherever they can, with the constant fear of what will happen each minute and uncertainty over how they will get food or water. And what's the international response? The United States has expressed its support for Israel and offered assistance in its response to the attacks. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin stated that the U.S. would share lessons learned from fighting ISIS with Israel in its war against Hamas. He emphasized that the U.S. supports Israel's right to defend itself and stands ready to deploy additional assets. However, The conflict is not just confined to Israel and Gaza. Military analysts warn that Israel's invasion of Gaza has the potential to escalate the conflict into a regional war. The trigger for this escalation could be if Israel decides to attack Gaza, which would activate various cells backed by Iran throughout the region. Signs of escalation can already be seen across Israel's borders, with Hezbollah launching rockets and shells in the north, and Israeli forces bombing crossings in the south. So what does the future hold for the Israel-Gaza conflict? The potential future implications of the current situation are grave. If the conflict escalates into a regional war, it could destabilize the Middle East, leading to a dangerous multi-front conflict. This could potentially draw in international powers, leading to a wider global conflict. On a human level, the implications are even more devastating. The ongoing conflict continues to claim lives, displace families, and disrupt everyday life. The hope for a peaceful resolution seems distant, but it's a hope that remains alive for many. The world watches on as the Israel-Gaza conflict continues to unfold.